Carleton University, we're revolutionizing surgery with AI, combating floods, decoding the mysteries of Alzheimer's, creating real-world solutions to enhance lives and protect our planet. Visit our website to learn more. At Carleton University, we're revolutionizing surgery with AI, combating floods, decoding the mysteries of Alzheimer's, creating real-world solutions to enhance lives and protect our planet. Visit our website to learn more.
One, two, 1, 2. One, two.
At Carleton University, we're revolutionizing surgery with AI, combating floods, decoding the mysteries of Alzheimer's, creating real-world solutions to enhance lives and protect our planet. Visit our website to learn more. At Carleton University, we're revolutionizing surgery with AI, combating floods, decoding the mysteries of Alzheimer's, creating real-world solutions to enhance lives and protect our planet. Visit our website to learn more. At Carleton University, we're revolutionizing surgery with AI, combating floods, decoding the mysteries of Alzheimer's, creating real-world solutions to enhance lives and protect our planet. Visit our website to learn more.
Welcome back, everybody, to TAAG Park. Today we're seeing your Carleton Ravens taking on the Concordia Stingers. Carleton today looking to kind of repeat the success they had last week, even though it could have been a little bit more of a better game, a little bit more score for the Ravens. We still came out with the win, and at the end of the day, that's what we're looking for. The last time these Concordia Stingers were here at TAAG Park was in 2022 for the bronze medal game that saw Carleton come out with the W. Carleton technically today in first place in the RSEQ, but with after one game, we don't want to put too much emphasis on that. Concordia losing their first game of the season. For Carleton's starting lineup, keep an eye on number 8, Sierra Haas. She scored 3 of the 4 tries last game, and she basically just kept doing what she was doing last year in her rookie season, being one of the best players on Carleton's team. Keep an eye out also for number 13, Zoe Neal, who won the Play of the Week for all of Carleton University last week with the 4th try of the game. And keep an eye on those blue boots and that speed she's got. Concordia Stingers in their yellow jerseys and Carleton in their signature black. As we're seconds away from the starting kick, I'm Cody Gaudreau. To my right is Jeremy Whalen. Jeremy, how's it going today?
It's another beautiful night. It's warmer, definitely warmer
Yes.
than the last time we were up here. The wind is worse, though, so we'll see what the weather does tonight, as Carleton Ravens Rugby is always in an interesting spot with the weather here.
Yeah, it definitely played a role last game, so very interesting. Those flags aren't going too crazy for now, but that will change, I guarantee you that, a little further into the game. Ball's in the air, and we're off today. First touch to Isabelle Bergeron, who's quickly taken down. The former rock, and the ball immediately goes to Sierra Haas, who's going to gain a good bit of ground there as the ball goes back to the right. That's Grace Rhodes just being held up before finally going down. But getting that ball quickly out of the ruck for Carleton, and this time far back, and we're just going to clear it away in touch. It's going to be that first line out of the game. We're going all the way back to where it was kicked. As that ball kind of just bounced awkwardly in touch. Not the cleanest kick. You can kind of see that it did slip on the foot of, I think that was Zoe O'Connor. Ball's up, and Concordia recovers. As they immediately roll out to their left. Makes some good ground as a Raven gets completely run over. Now they're making their way in the middle of the field, but that ball gets dropped. And Carleton comes out of the ruck with it. Now they're going to go to their left. Quick whistle from the referee, who immediately gives the ball to the Ravens. They're going to be coming back to the middle of the field here. Are they going to form a scrum? Yes. Still getting familiar with the ref signals here, guys. So it's Hannah McGregor, the scrum half, is going to be the one rolling it in, of course. It's in, and Sierra Haas comes with it, quickly rolling to her right, trips over, but gets that ball loose. Tried to get it to McKenna Taylor, but again, those passes just getting dropped. Stingers come out with it, but a bad pass, but it still ends up on the right. That's in the hands of Emma Marshall. Goes back to the middle this time. Leanne Duncan quickly gets taken down. The Carleton defense right on her, keeping them out of the red zone. As it's back through the middle, and another good pass gets stopped, but is that going to be a knock-on? Yeah, a little windy, eh?
Even in the booth, it's windy as my
those
sheet flies away
papers.
from me here. And not where Carleton wants to be in the first 3 minutes to be in this situation and to be backed right up. But early time, I think both teams trying to feel each other out. Concordia, if anything, does come in with a pretty good advantage here in that, yes, they're 0-1, but it is early season. They were at Laval last week, and so anytime you can kind of test yourself against Laval, and they did admirably well, too, especially by that score. You come in prepared, and that's what we're seeing here is a really nice pick.
And also talking to Dave before the game, told me not to put too much emphasis on last year's result when Ravens last faced Concordia, but it was an ugly game, to say the least. But, you know, again, completely different team on both ends, but we cannot forget sometimes that Concordia's had her numbers since that bronze medal game in 22.
That was a very veteran Concordia team as well, and they came into that game very prepared. For Carleton, there was some people in and out of the lineup, and kind of a tough schedule the last couple of years. There's been midweek games and really weird chunks of the schedule. So not unlike this, though, where when Concordia gets going, they're dangerous.
See, that pass could have been dangerous, but it's recovered by Fatima Ramadan.
That was the break the Ravens needed. It was a tough 4 minutes, and it looked like it was going to get a whole lot worse. But Ramadan and the line come up really well, poorly handled pass, and all of a sudden, here we go. The kicking game will be so interesting tonight because the wind, and David Long was mentioning this pregame down on the field, the wind is changing very quickly like we saw last game, but it's not changing direction, it's just changing speed. So we're going from incredibly fast wind to, as you can see on the flags right now, almost dead at times, but then suddenly it'll pick right back up to these huge gusts, and that's going to mess with your kicking game a bit. We know Carleton tried to do that to get the offense going last game, a little chip and chase a couple times, so we'll see how they can use the wind maybe to their advantage, at least this half, while it's behind them.
That kick in a touch allowed the Ravens to gain a good chunk of ground here.
They're saying this play did go out, so this is a line out, for Concordia. But we have a Raven down on the field right now. Can't get a number. Fatina Ramadan checking on her teammate. Looks to be Ashlyn Somerville. But don't want to speculate, and we will get an update for you as soon as someone's back on their feet here. But if you're the Carleton Ravens, I would imagine right away, or I would say right away, this is never the situation you want.
Oh, absolutely not.
But definitely the time when you needed a break. You finally stopped Concordia's first kind of roll. There was a multi-phase attack, and then you turned it over like really quickly, and maybe some nerves. It's still not a super veteran Carleton lineup. I know you mentioned off the top, Katie Cox getting her first start in 2 years. So you want to settle everybody back down. This isn't the reason you want to settle everybody back down, but it does give you a chance to breathe. It does give you a chance to kind of make sure your feet are set underneath you and you're ready to go when it's time to go here.
Of course. I know you kind of opened it up, but Katie Cox, again, her first start in, 2 years, as you said earlier, and it's crazy coming back from a knee injury like that. And she played a little bit last game, looked pretty good, and, you know, it's interesting to see what when you bring that, even though she hasn't played in 2 years, it's still a veteran presence on that team.
Absolutely, and it's someone who's been around for so long now. She just completely understands what Coach David Long wants, as the clock will be stopped here too. but it's someone who, whether you're playing or not, you're in team meetings, you're at training, you're always around the team, and she's someone too who, as we were looking back and preparing for this one, she was second on the team in scoring 2 years ago. The last time she played, she was right there, and kicking converts and playing a big part. Obviously, a knee injury kind of slows down your ability to kick and to practice kicking and to be ready to do that, but she's going to be someone as she eases back in, and Dave's been very honest about that. She's not going to play 80 minutes today. She's going to take her time, and she's going to reset herself. But as she does that and she gets her feet underneath her, we will expect kind of big things from her in terms of what she's able to bring this team, and just a true veteran, right? So as soon as you add that, you add a bit more maturity, a bit more stability to what you're doing here.
Well, it's a testament just how much of this game is mental, right? Like, as much as you don't get practice on the physical side, that brain's still thinking rugby.
And you're so immersed in it in the program here, between the sevens program in the winter and what they do here on the field, and David's way of the season always goes straight through the schedule, whether the team makes their ultimate goal of appearing at the U Sports Final 8 or not. They train right through that window and they're ready. So there's no drop off for them in terms of their development. We're talking about players who are getting ready and playing club all the time as well. And you just kind of constantly develop and learn the game.
Concordia taking a little too long to get that ball out.
Players are always a bit
shook.
Safe. I was going to say safe. Sometimes shook. Sometimes you're kind of used to it. But there's a bit of a safety mechanism where when there's still a player being helped off the field, I mean, if a player's down, you're going to play around them. You're going to run through them if you have to. But when a player's being helped off in that situation with actually the doc and an athletic therapist helping, and that was Ashlyn Somerville, who with some help was able to come off the field on 2 feet. And that's a slight positive as Coach David Long goes over to check on her as well, and she's going to get checked out on the table for a bit now. But you're always more hesitant when the ATs are involved. If someone's down and they're down, maybe they're slow to get up, you're going to play around them and you're going to try and play hard. But that's your teammate being helped off the field. The last thing you want to do is take a line out and run right through her.
Exactly, and just how much time these girls spend with each other. It's just you get to a point where it's more than just a teammate, right?
Yeah, this is a group too who in past years they've played intramurals in the winter. They really bond well, and it's part of the culture that's been established here, especially since COVID, and that's why you see a coaching staff full of former players too.
Concordia finally gets it out, and they got a bunch of room on that right side, and that's exactly what they use. They had everyone lined up in that backfield on the right, nobody on the left. There we gained a good 20 meters. Still trying to power through. That was in the hand, I believe, of Megan Allard, who learned another 5-ish meters. And Carlton's going to have to repeat what they did about 2 minutes ago there, and stopping them at the, using those football markings around at the 10-yard line. Still more progress through the middle, and that Concordia backfield now split pretty evenly between left and right. They roll it out on the right, and they're almost in. They're going to be in, and that first score is going to be for the Concordia Stingers.
That's Penelope Anderson, who took that one in, and she had a big phase in that as well. As we take a look at the replay, nice little pop to Anderson, and it's going to take more than one player to stop the eights either way today, and Anderson showed that there. She just dropped that shoulder, broke the first tackle with ease, and now Concordia's got that 5-0 lead.
Not the easiest of kicks going on here, but still makeable.
Into the wind, it is slightly off angle, but there's definitely worse angles out there in the rugby game especially, so. Get a good look on this view of all the flags in TAAG Park and in the distance tonight, and think of the Red Blacks down the street and the struggles they've had kicking this year. As that one is up and through for 2 points.
So this game's going to start off with a 7-0 lead for Concordia. Those early scores really played a role last year and really set the tone, or last week for the Ravens. I'm sure they're hoping it's not the same scenario this time.
For the Ravens, you got to get a good kick and you got to get moving here. And that one, that almost worked out perfectly.
Another pass to the back there that Concordia dropped up. They were playing advantage there, so they're going to take that ground back right away. Coming through the middle here, that Ravens front looks a little mixed up, right? As you know, that Concordia speed getting it off, getting that quick kick.
Last week we saw a lot of McGill, multiple players into those rucks. We're talking 4 at times, if not 5. Concordia not having to do that. This is an equally matched team physically. If anything, maybe a bit heavier, stronger pack than Carleton, and especially since losing Somerville here. What we're seeing from Concordia is this instant impact size that they're only sending 2 in. They're leaving their forwards hanging just off in the flanks and ready to go. And so you're getting a lot of quick pops, a lot of quick A-gaps. And that's different to defend now. If you were getting away with committing an extra to the ruck and picking and going, you're not winning those rucks this week like you did on Saturday against McGill.
Nope. And you kind of see it there with the drop pass going to the right. Everyone in that Concordia backfield was on that right side. Now they're lining up a lot more people on the left. Faking that pass to the right.
There was a very quick advantage there for Concordia that's already called off. Carleton was playing the ball through that rock.
Oh. Another ruck. They're going back to Penelope Anderson through the middle. This time, though, Sierra Haas stopped her right in her tracks. So they've got some room here. I think that's Emma Marshall going all the way to the left. She gets taken down. That was a lot of ground, though, gained for Concordia, as, you know, Concordia really wanting to repeat what they did pretty much in the first couple minutes of the game. Just putting pressure right away on that Carleton front.
Just like we talked about, Concordia now very content to let their forwards do the work. They're just rolling quick pops here. And
early in the game, when you've got the lead, you don't have to go for those big plays. As Carleton's stopping them, though, those Carleton fronts, they don't want to give an inch.
No, and a great tackle there from Ember Warren, who got nice and low, didn't let anybody get around her at all. When you're the smaller pack, you got to make sure you're low. Otherwise, you end up in a situation like that.
It's finally a quick pass to the left. That's back to Pamela Anderson. Right on the line, she got stopped. Forming another ruck here. That pass was a little off to Carleton. Ref blows the whistle and
held up by Carleton.
Wow.
The work Penelope Anderson did to get that started, for it to pop back and Collegian to get the second run, just a fantastic defensive stand from Carleton, and now they have to help themselves out and relieve some pressure here.
All that effort they put in, they don't want it to go for nothing. Kick is out, and they're going right in the middle. They just want to get it out of there. Giving it back to Concordia.
The problem when you kick that in the middle, and I understand why you do, that's Madeline McTavish, and she's taken right back off again. It's a really high-quality fullback out there for Concordia, and when you give her the ball, she's going to gain yards.
Captain for a reason. Again, they get another stop, and Concordia's going to try that same thing, just inching their way forward. That's, again, Collegian. There you go. I think that was Leanne Duncan with the final couple inches getting it in. But again, that 7-8-9 combination between Anderson, Duncan, and Allard, just gaining that last little bit of ground as we see on the replay.
The same thing we saw in the last one, though. Concordia is really low. They're picking those balls out of traffic. They are hard to stop right now when they are there. And if you're the Carleton Ravens, you have to come up with a strategy. Concordia doesn't look in a rush to move this ball out, so you might want to consider loading in off the sides of the rock a little bit more, setting up your flank a bit more. And giving yourself an opportunity, because right now it really is. Every time that they settle in, Concordia is just going to pick and roll when the forwards are having their way 2-3 feet at a time. That's all you need sometimes. And the Ravens did a good job early in those phases of that drive to hold them up. But you can only hold them up so many times in a row before it comes back to get you a little bit.
Even seeing those backs kind of just taking a break from it, right? Just letting their forwards do the job as they know they're going to get the job done almost.
And it's a tough one too. If you're Concordia, you're going to keep putting up points here, but you haven't had to go to your backs. You haven't really had to test them. And I think in that last one, we saw that all start with Madeline McTavish. Carlton didn't have an option. You hold them up on the try line, you're going to have to just kick and go. And unfortunately, they kicked to McTavish, and she brought it back about half of the distance they covered in that clear.
Yeah, they got put in a tough situation there. Kick is off, and it's back to the middle of the field. Concordia getting it back, but Sierra Haas quickly takes ball carrier down. Making their way on that right side of the field, but I don't got a feeling they're going to stay in the middle here as it's Kalajan almost breaking free with the big amount of room she had.
This is what we want to see if you're Carleton. They're getting up in numbers. They're getting up on the line. They're getting out of these big ruck games. They're forcing Concordia to play a wider field, and now it's giving Carleton a chance to kind of settle in a bit. Interesting to see OTA take that ball, waited for support, and then just plowed forward. There was no thought from the Stingers to go to their backs.
No, and no rush really to get that ball out of the ruck either. It's a real contrast to the way Carleton usually plays.
High tackle from the Ravens will push them back. The Stingers are going to take their time to take this penalty.
No surprises that kick is in touch. Way out on the right side of the field, over the fence.
That one's bouncing around near the base of the stands. But what Concordia, you heard the cry from them, didn't go as far downfield as I think they would have wanted. Again, we talk about the wind. It looks like, at least from what we can pick up in the stadium here, it looks like it's died on them a little bit. Maybe was expecting something a little different. Maybe, as we saw last week, a shank off a boot, and those happen. But Concordia line out here, and Carleton being adjusted by the officials. The back's too far forward.
Maul formed here as
exactly what I was going to say.
A lot of ground forward. You don't see that a lot in this league.
You don't see it as often, especially not in the women's game. But if your forwards are working like they are for Concordia, like,
why not?
A
right?
maul's not a bad choice.
Duncan again able to get that ball loose. Those passes that Concordia's been dropping, they dropped quite a bit so far, and it doesn't seem to worry them, as just like you said, we're relying on those forwards a lot more than our backs. And again, like, the game's working, we can use those more. Forward-oriented tactics.
And that's that approach we were talking about. Carleton wants to make a change here. They need to force McGill to do that. The backs don't look confident yet, whether they're not in the game. I mean, it's 17 minutes, but I can only think of 2 or 3 phases where they've gone to their backs. And if you're the Ravens right now, you got to get it out to them. You got to put them under pressure and see what these Concordia backs. I mean, we're not saying they're a weak group by any means on the outside center. We saw one good run earlier from Catherine Ann Blankhorn, and we've talked about what the captain, Madeline McTavish, can do, but the hands don't seem to be there yet. So if you're the Ravens and you're trying to find something to build on, how many times can you force this ball out and into the hands of those backs right now?
Yep, super well said. As they finally get a kick in touch here. And they recover. That was a little close, but they get quickly back to Sierra Haas, moving all the way back to that left side of the field. And that was Isabel Bergeron, who gained quite a bit of ground before getting taken down. Sorry, that was Gabrielle Everett. Those Ravens are out now. Again, using their backs, which is more their style of play. and getting that ball quickly out of the ruck.
There is an advantage being played on a knock on.
But Stingers just took the ball.
They just take it away, and now we will get that whistle and play back the advantage. It seemed like everybody knocked that one on at one point in time. And now we will get that call, so the play will come back. If you're Carleton, those are the phases you need more of. You get the ball out, you get moving. It was a really well-designed line out, and to have Leverett out on the outside, in with your backs, sure-handed, and for a front row, fantastic hands on that play. As it wasn't a wonderful pass to her by any means, as maybe she snuck up on everyone, but to take that one, take off, that was a great little piece of rugby for Carleton, and now they need to build on that.
Megan Allard rolls it in. And Concordia looking back to that right side, but that was a good takedown by Zoe Neal. Almost stripped the ball there.
Carleton, unfortunately, offside after the tackle.
And Concordia's going to gain a lot of ground there on the left side. Ramadan pushing them all the way back, though.
Ramadan almost had the steal there. That was the cheer that came up from the Ravens bench. She is so fast when she comes flying up that wing.
It's surprising. But again, Concordia is the one that comes out of the ruck with it. And making, again, another big play up the middle. Just powering through those Carleton fronts. That Carleton front. Now that's Olivia Miller. Again, trying to make ground in the front.
Ravens called again.
They're getting pushed back again and again. They're giving free ground there to Concordia, and it's costing them.
Discipline is such a key when you're evenly matched like this, and if you're the Ravens, it is typically, I mean, in a lot of ways, them and Concordia, Montreal, arch rivals in the middle of the standings. You can't give free field position, and now a fantastic kick to touch as well. And
that's again outside of that fence area. I think that one went through the door, though, not over the fence. So
it's not a short distance either. This is set up for a wider FIFA soccer field before you get to the fence as well. So if you're kicking that into touch and we're playing on the rugby lines, you're making sure it's you're making sure it's into touch today.
Riley Otier to throw it in. Concordia quickly recovers, and it's again another maul that they're forming. Doesn't gain that much ground, though. That Carleton front's quickly able to take it down, but as they're rolling to that left side, they're going to be in for another Concordia touch, the third of the game.
That was a fantastic wheel by the Stingers on this maul. They got a second phase when it looked like Carleton had stopped them. They moved the ball back so nicely, and then it's a nice plunge in.
Yeah, I don't think rolling to the left was their initial plan there when they recovered the ball, but as but going forward down the middle wasn't working out, and they just said, "Hey, let's try that left side." And
as soon as they started, and as soon as they started, the Ravens couldn't really adjust. It seemed like suddenly they were. As our camera decides it wants to focus on nothing right now, and that's okay. It's a beautiful night in Ottawa. Maybe I just wanted to catch the sky instead, but it's one of those, like, you take what's given to you, and Concordia has done that right now. Their advantage consistently on the offense has come from their strength and their pack, and the pack again just spun that maul and drives its way in.
That's our captain, Madeline McTavish. Whoa. Same amount of points, but that was not a perfect kick.
When everything's going your way, sometimes even the bounce is going to go your way, and that one taking a shot off the post and working out just fine. And now if you're the Carleton Ravens, 22 minutes in and 21 points down, I don't know if you panic yet, but you've already lost Somerville, who has been treated on the sidelines and is now cheering on her team with a jacket on. You are already kind of up against it. You got to start to push. You need to get some points before halftime. Even just some positive field. We haven't really seen Carleton get anywhere near the Concordia 22, and I would imagine, like, you're not going to feel good about yourself if you're not getting to that 22 at some point soon.
I mean, let alone 22. They haven't even got close to the 50. It's
That was a good kick. That's the best kick we've seen from the Ravens so far today.
This time Concordia quickly out of the ruck, and again getting ground middle, and again Pamela Anderson just running over whoever's in front of her. They're rolling it out to the right side now. That Carleton back, though, is quickly on them, but getting a lot of ground, just shedding those tackles.
Great pace from the Stingers there. In motion, well-timed pass out of the ruck. And
that was the Collegian, yeah. And now they're going all the way over the that left side where there's room, and those plays are always ready. Is that Carleton recovering there out of the ruck?
Unfortunately not, or if so, stripped away. And
that's a lot of room there for...
Claire File thought she had pushed her out. Zoe Neal makes sure it's done. A lot of that play, as much as Concordia threw it left and got going, that all started with Penelope Anderson's drive right through the middle. Really physical, really hard up that gap. And again, like, we're seeing Collegian, we're seeing Anderson, we're seeing OTA. When the pack gets going here, Concordia just gets wheels turning, and they're coming downhill quickly. The line out here for Carleton.
They're working really well there as a unit. Stingers get that ball back again. And Anderson again just running over everyone over that middle. And those short passes there, as they're able to gain ground even after contact. Back to Collegian. It's those three players, right? Like you said.
Yeah, we got a taste of Duncan in the last one too, but here, three faces in again. Concordia knows who they want to have this ball, and Megan Allard just backing right up, letting the forwards do the work.
And again, back in that position where they, we said it a million times, where they don't want to be. But Concordia really quickly made their way up the field. That was almost 3 minutes, not even. Back to Collegian and in. That one hurt. That one's going to hurt Carleton.
That one is the one right now where I don't want to say that you overreact, but you got to react. And Steve Collegian here just gets in the right spot and very quickly drives through. There was 3 Ravens trying to stop Collegian, and right now the answer for the Stingers forwards is non-existent. And I think if you're David Long, and we know that this staff is all wired in, every single one of the impact players, every single one of the 10 others on the sideline, or the remaining 9 on the sideline, are warming up right now and preparing for contact. And head strength and conditioning coach for the team, Nick Eck, is down there with them. And part of this message has to be, you got to get low and you got to stick a tackle. Somebody has to stick a tackle soon.
Following that theme here, just something needs to go right for the Ravens. That's another good kick.
Madeline McTavish wasn't going to flirt with that one at all after an unfortunate, fortunate for her, it went in, and on the score sheet, especially in rugby, it just shows 2 points, but much cleaner kick, really nice off the boot, straight through the middle. And we are curiously waiting to see how Carleton responds here as we reach 28 minutes down, 28-0 the Ravens are.
At least they're making it easy to keep up with the numbers, eh?
The unfortunate truth right now is, yes, they are scoring almost to the minute. It has gotten quickly dark here at TAAG Park, and that ball as well on that last kick must have ended up in the trees or in the parking lot. They've grabbed the second one out. McKenna Taylor and Concordia, both teams get to check it quickly and buy the Ravens a little time. It's a great crowd at TAAG Park, and Concordia has traveled well. Carleton has traveled well. The men's rugby team, women's basketball team, among others, in attendance. We got soccer all weekend. It's a great start to the varsity season at Carleton, but not a great start so far tonight for Carleton.
No. Kick by McKenna Taylor. Concordia had a little bit of trouble getting a handle on it. Allowed Carleton to get quickly up on them, but they're still quickly making up that ground that they lost. Again, rolling out to that left side, but Sierra Haas just rolling on quickly. Maybe saying she's had enough of it. As they tried to kick it and touch her, but the wind got involved. Carleton finally recovers into that Concordia half of the field.
The Stingers maybe playing this ball through the rock. Yeah,
Yep.
everybody was playing that ball in the rocks. The referee kindly lets it all go.
That's surprising, but that ball's still in there. Jenna Menard comes out with it, gaining a good chunk of ground there. That could be that big play we were talking about where, you know, it didn't look good for Carleton, but they're as close as they've gotten so far in this game.
It seems every time Carleton gets a break right now, Sierra Haas is right there as well. Not to be
Well, there's no surprise there.
surprised at all, no.
They're getting back around in the middle, and they're putting a lot of emphasis on those backs. We want to get that ball out of the ruck and quickly to the backs.
The Stingers are doing a great job trying to rip balls here. Every time the first tackle is wrapping and sticking, the second player's coming in just trying to strip. They're not trying to help with the tackle.
Something we don't see often, but that's very aggressive, and, you know, it's worked out for them so far.
We've seen a few steals. Now it's not working. This is a great multi-phase here for Carleton so far.
Yeah, and you just heard it. That wind is not giving up.
We're not even safe in the press box.
Oh, God. That was Grace Rose last time with the ball. Now they're rolling to the left. That's McKenna Taylor. Again, she found some room. And Hannah McGregor quickly to get that ball out of the ruck. Here she goes again. Now they're going to roll out to the right side. That's Ember Warren. Quickly getting ground in the middle. Again, trying to push through those fronts. Maybe taking a book, a page out of Concordia's books. We just saw fireworks. I guess the Red Blacks just scored a touchdown. That distracted a good chunk of the crowd.
It's the first one we've seen, so hopefully our friends down the street are having a good night.
Yeah, better time than
Haven't
us.
seen a lot of fireworks there so far, so maybe at the halftime you go check that one out and come back here for
Absolutely, I will. But I think we got a knock on here from Carleton, and that ball's going to come back into the Stingers' hands.
Really unfortunate for the Ravens. That was a really nice attack.
That was as close as they got so far.
Yeah, as we have to steal a term from my friend Stevie Ball and Alex Zlowski, who will have Carleton Ravens soccer, that's a kick to Bronson. That one hits the berm and it's to the fence on the other side. That was a traditional Carleton Ravens soccer tactic for years. When they had the lead, you would hear kick it to Bronson screamed from the veteran coach Sandy Mackey, and suddenly the ball would end up far, far out of play. There wasn't a fence on the other side of the berm for a while, and it was the bane of the OUA's existence for OUA soccer for quite some time. So always nice to see someone still kick it to Bronson. That's a bigger hill than there used to be there too.
And, you know, I've never personally had to deal with it, but as someone who drives on Bronson every day, not too happy to hear that.
Yeah, you're not getting one out there anymore. You got to give it a
pretty good,
and you got a 10-foot fence. And, I mean, you could do it, but you're intentionally trying to cause havoc at that point in time.
Concordia looking for more room on that right side, but those Carleton backs there are playing a little bit more aggressively than they were earlier in the game.
Crowd here in attendance doesn't like this one.
I'm not sure, but I think it was called offsides, but didn't really see anything too egregious there.
No, it was after some of, I mean, it's always tough to judge. There's a lot going on when you're at that level, but after some of what we've seen, stay in, stay out. Oh,
what a catch by Zoe Neal. Well,
she's called out in a interesting call, and then Concordia tried to take that quick, but the officials are going to have a conversation about this.
If that goes the Ravens' way, that's the break they need, and that was a great play by Zoe Neal to just read where that ball was going.
Now the Stingers, who looked like they were eager to take it quick because they had so many Ravens players upfield, having to set up, have had a chance to talk about this. Concordia's line-out has maybe been the one thing that hasn't been incredibly...
Hasn't been perfect at all.
Yeah, hasn't been anything but incredible is what I meant to say.
Oh.
And maybe the broadcaster's curse. Maybe I'm the break they needed because after thinking how everything has gone Concordia's way on the line-out, we get a knock-on.
As the ref calls a scrum here. Jeez. Hannah McGregor is going to be the one rolling it in. It's a later game than last time, so that's my excuse for today.
Yeah, it's a beautiful night here though, minus the wind. Up in the booth when the wind's not coming through. That ball doesn't even get in. Hannah McGregor went to roll that in, and Concordia had already started to spin everything, and we'll get a penalty going Carleton's way now. They're going to take a second to discuss how to deal with this one. If you're Carleton, the wind behind you has let up a little bit. Do you kick the touch? I don't think you're going to tap and go, but they're setting up like they might. Katie Cox, though, with the ball tells me we're probably getting a kick.
That's way high and bounces out. Bounces out of Olivia Miller's hands. Gives the Ravens the time to catch up to that ball. And this time we're playing, again, a lot more aggressively at the front. But Concordia not in a rush to get that ball out of the ruck. Deep pass back, and what a block by Gabrielle Everett.
We do get advantage. We do get a penalty,
Wow.
too. Leverett with a fantastic block diving through the air, and then Concordia pulls her down, almost unable to decide how they wanted to play that ball.
No, I'm sure it came as a surprise to them.
And
what a sequence.
I do have to credit the Concordia defender. Unfortunately, didn't catch a number. If she doesn't make that illegal tackle, Carleton's gone. She's in, and she's untouched, so they do save a try for the moment. The Ravens now will look to make a decision. They're going to kick for points.
Question of just getting something on the board to get that confidence back up, you think?
Yeah, and like we talked about, you add Katie Cox back into the lineup, and that's who's holding the ball right now. And 2 years ago, she was second on the team, 21 points, most of that all off conversions and kicks. And really, this is a 22. This is what you dream of as a kicker. The wind's behind you. As long as it doesn't change pace drastically, this is your opportunity to get your team on the board before halftime.
Similar angle, too, to that first Concordia conversion. So far from being the hardest kick to make. And it's in. Katie Cox putting the first points on the board for the Carleton Ravens in this game.
Just about as technically clean as you'd want. Cox maybe hit a bit more tee than she would normally, but with the afternoon, or the evening, I should say, that Carleton has had, you're on the board now. You got 3 minutes before the half. You'd like to get a stop. You'd like to build yourself a little momentum going to the break and see what you can come out and do different.
Absolutely. Starting kick is up. And again, that ball really slowed down up in the air. Now McGregor kicking off the play back to Sierra Haas. Haven't been able to say her name a lot so far in this game, but hopefully with this new confidence that Carleton has found in this momentum, they're going their way now.
You'd imagine that was, oh, that's unfortunate.
That's unfortunate, but at least we come back out with the ball for Carleton.
To your point, you haven't heard Haas's name a lot. The Ravens have really worked through that. The Concordia game plan obviously intended to keep the ball away from her and to change things. They haven't really given her the opportunity to be the star tackler that she is either. And now maybe things are going to start to bounce their way or start to bounce even. You're going to have to almost chip away like the Stingers did in the first half at a point a minute, but as Bronson comes alive here in the background.
Those things are allowed. That ball gets rolled in. Concordia quickly gets it out, and we're rolling out to that left side. Finding the ball back in the middle. Coming back to the right and gets back up right after being taken down.
Nobody on the Ravens was able to hold on when they made that tackle. It was kind of like a shoelace tackle, and she was able to recover.
Didn't catch a number on that. However, another pass that bounces down. Concordia loses a lot of ground, but those Carleton backs a little too eager to take advantage of that. As a ruck finally forms, ball quickly gets out this time. Those passes to the back, they're hurting Concordia.
The Stingers have struggled with that. Now we're getting a penalty in Carleton's favor again. And as we near 40 minutes, we'll see how much time. The clock did stop early on, so we'll see how much time the official decides to give here.
Like you said, that clock just hit 40. But they're going to let McGregor roll it in.
I would imagine we see at least 2 minutes, if not more here.
Sarah Haas gets it out, wheels to that left side, sheds one tackle. Almost sheds two, but she gets taken down after doing a good 5 meters. Those Concordia fronts, though, not given too much ground.
Stolen by the Stingers again.
Good takedown by Zoe Neild. But that ball is still in Concordia's hands. They're going to take their time. That was Olivia Miller just taking her time with the ball, making sure her backs are getting ready. Because we saw that was Concordia's strength earlier in the game. That's pretty much who scored all of their points.
And
Zoe
that,
O'Connor.
That has to be called.
Oh, yeah.
And it is. If anything, on that tackle, fortunate not to be carded. That was right around the neck and the head of O'Connor. But
after a great recovery by her, too, it
looked like it was going to be an opportunity for Carleton to get on the run.
Exactly. That kick is in touch. That's going to be a good amount of distance for the Ravens.
Considering we've seen no substitutions other than, of course, for Somerville, what we've seen is a Carleton team that seems to have settled down. They're shooting players kind of off the edge of the rucks now when the ball comes out. And that was a messy line out.
Jenna Menard, that throw a little bit more to the left than she wanted to, I'm sure. As the Ravens just can't catch a break. Penelope Anderson bringing it up the middle and, again, just going through that front. Like you said earlier, just Ravens really haven't had a chance to use their weapons so far in the game. That's Collegian this time. Ball out of the ruck. Emma Marshall now gets taken down after gaining some ground. Ruck forms. Took a little bit of time to get up, but that ball quickly back to Anderson. As they still have a lot of people over on that right side, but Carleton gets that ball.
quick chat with the official, maybe asking how much time was there.
They're putting that kick in touch, it looks like, so. Carlton at least still feels like they got time. That ball's going to roll a little short, but still ends up rolling outside, and it is going to be a line out for Carlton.
You talk about have time, and we wondered what kind of veteran things you'd get. What a fantastic kick. Like,
you couldn't ask for better there.
If we're talking football, if we're stealing a reference, that's a coffin corner. You put it right back between the two defenders. You put it right inside the line, and you actually make them give it back to you. And the crowd coming alive at TAAG Park, too.
Denham and Art to toss it in. Good timing. That ends up being Grace Rose with the catch, who was lifting up Hannah McGregor, but that ball rolls out. That's Morgan Sweeney, who just refuses to go down and gives McGregor the time to get back. And Katie Cox tries to put a last kick in touch.
We have another penalty called on the Stingers, but unfortunately that ball from Cox was already kicked. And if you're Carleton, we've called for the tee again. This one is not the same penalty kick we saw before.
No,
and
that's a good distance away. If
Katie Cox can hit this one, I think Coach Corey Grant might be on the phone here. He's got an important one tomorrow afternoon in Waterloo. But if you're hitting 35s with a rugby ball, wind behind you or not, I think you're going to get yourself a look with that slightly smaller CFL football.
Yeah, of course. Carleton football team always looking for something, right? It's what a kick by Katie Cox.
Well, I think if we learned anything from Bill Belichick, it's always next man up. And I mean, North Carolina right now probably looking for a couple men to put up, but Katie Cox showing that Carleton Ravens rugby at least have a kicker ready to go.
Yeah, that kick was from that distance. It's where you pretty much have zero doubt to get that kick in, but we're gonna be back as the ref finally decides that that is enough for the first half, and we're gonna see you in a little bit as the score is 28-6 for the Concordia Stingers. We'll be right back, guys.
At Carleton University, we're revolutionizing surgery with AI, combating floods, decoding the mysteries of Alzheimer's, creating real-world solutions to enhance lives and protect our planet. Visit our website to learn more. At Carleton University, we're revolutionizing surgery with AI, combating floods, decoding the mysteries of Alzheimer's, creating real-world solutions to enhance lives and protect our planet. Visit our website to learn more. At Carleton University, we're revolutionizing surgery with AI, combating floods, decoding the mysteries of Alzheimer's, creating real-world solutions to enhance lives and protect our planet. Visit our website to learn more.
Welcome back, everybody. Now, 28-6 for the Concordia Stingers, an ugly start and an ugly half completely for the Carleton Ravens, just not keeping up with what they wanted to do after last game. Jeremy, what's going on with that offense?
Offensively, I think Carleton's got to make sure they're getting that ball out. We saw it take some time. They weren't getting maybe some of those key offensive players into the play for them. We weren't seeing Sierra Haas. We weren't seeing the forwards really get going. And when things started going their way and they started earning these penalties, and that's how they've chipped back into this score at all. It was 28-0, 28 minutes in. They've done that by getting different players the ball at the right time in the right situations. We've seen Gabrielle Leverette take a couple runs. We saw Jenna Menard take a couple runs. Obviously, Sarah Haas getting touches is key. And Concordia came ready for that. I think anytime you play the Rookie of the Year, she comes off 3 tries last game. You know what she can do. Credit to the Stingers. They really made it hard for Carleton to get started. And now the Ravens have found a bit of momentum here. They're getting the ball wider. But some of that comes from being in good spots, and they just weren't in good spots defensively to start that.
And you mentioned, too, those passes were looking pretty crisp. Something that Concordia hasn't been doing pretty well, and Carleton kind of just needs to do more of that in the defense, right? Yeah,
you know, it's always easy to look past what you're doing well when you're winning. And if you're the Stingers right now, you can kind of say, hey, we're up 28-6. Like, we'll worry about this on Sunday or we'll worry about this on Monday, but the ball's not moving well for them right now.
No, not at all.
Especially when it gets into the back. They've got a lot of good movement from the forwards. We're seeing a lot of good things from that group, and talk about Penelope Anderson and the impact she's had and everyone else up front, especially that front row. But if you're Carleton, if you can force Concordia's backs to play the ball, we saw it set up this last score. The backs have to handle a really hot kick from Katie Cox, and it doesn't go well, and now all of a sudden Carleton's right back in a good spot to score. So if I'm Carleton, I'm getting my backs more involved in the offense, and I'm getting their backs more involved when I'm on defense. The more I can force Concordia to have to work it back there. We know they have some talented backs, but they haven't looked sharp yet tonight, and I don't want their forwards touching the ball.
No, that's really well said, and just like you mentioned, we haven't even said the names of either backs too much in this game, so something we'll see 5 minutes from now as we're getting ready for that second half. We'll be back in just a moment.
At Carleton University, we're revolutionizing surgery with AI, combating floods, decoding the mysteries of Alzheimer's, creating real-world solutions to enhance lives and protect our planet. Visit our website to learn more. At Carleton University, we're revolutionizing surgery with AI, combating floods, decoding the mysteries of Alzheimer's, creating real-world solutions to enhance lives and protect our planet. Visit our website to learn more. At Carleton University, we're revolutionizing surgery with AI, combating floods, decoding the mysteries of Alzheimer's, creating real-world solutions to enhance lives and protect our planet. Visit our website to learn more.
Welcome back, everybody, as that kick to the second half gets it started. I know you guys are here to watch some rugby, but we were wrong a little earlier about that football game down the street. Those fireworks were just the game intro. It's still 0-0 between the Red Blacks and the BC Lions.
And now that you have that update, you can settle in for the second half here. And
crucial information.
important not to be completely wrong on the air for once. I will give myself credit. We talked in the halftime very quickly, if you joined us, if you didn't run to the fridge, that Carleton wanted to get the backs involved. They kick it straight to the backs. We get a knock on. We get a scrum. So maybe they're listening. Maybe Coach Dave and I just talk too much, but a quick one that I will pat myself on the back for once for. Official doesn't like the channel. Comes in, resets it.
Gerger gets that ball in and quickly gets it out and rolls it to her left. That's back to Katie Cox there. Going to repeat it again in her first start in 2 years. As that ball gets to Sierra Haas, she gets a lot of ground there down the middle. Something that's been missing since the start of the game. Katie Cox kicks it to the side, and that's recovered by, I think that's Zoe O'Connor. A lot of ground gained by Carleton, and they came out big in that second half.
And now, very quick to take this penalty. Sierra Haas comes in, the official, making sure she's letting everybody know. Carleton's going to talk about it quickly, though. Now they've called for the scrum. Interesting decision, maybe. The scrums have really gone Concordia's way early on. I am trying to take a look at the sidelines and get a look. We're far up here. The binoculars are only so strong for these old eyes, but let me take a look. It is not. Doesn't look like there's a lot of change to that Concordia pack, but I could be wrong.
They did have a lot of people in those kind of warm-up pennies and in that getting ready to come in that first half, but
it does look like maybe Collision might be out now. as I take a better look at the sideline, I can see that better than I can see the far side. And for Carlton, Michaela Cola is in. Powerful overtake by the Stingers, but the ball comes back to Carlton.
Question to take advantage of that good field position they just had. They're not in a rush to get that ball out of the ruck, as Concordia was kind of in a rush to get back on side, but we can't make, they're getting in trouble to getting that ball more than a couple feet up. Those Concordia fronts, as we repeated and repeated and repeated over this game, just not giving a lot of ground.
The Ravens are, however, making sure here, as we're 4 or 5 phases in since the reset, the forwards are taking this ball.
That was a good little gain there from, I think that was Grace Rhodes. As there's still a lot of time in this game, not necessarily in a rush to get that first touch. That was a good game by Isabel Bergeron. Now they're rolling it down to that right side. Quickly slowing down, but Ramadan making that ground. We know she's got speed. Sierra Haas to pick it up. She's only got one defender, and she's in for the first touch of the game for your Carleton Ravens. They're finally on the board. What a way to get out of halftime, just right out the gate, putting pressure on Concordia.
Yeah, that was a fantastic play for Carleton. Really came off kind of a fortunate bounce too. You see our replay doesn't want to bounce for us, but Claire File took that pass and almost dropped it. She was able to offload really quickly to Fatima Ramadan, who went into contact, set up that next phase, and then from that phase, obviously, as soon as you can get Sierra Haas a ball with some space. But the Ravens, in a way, it wasn't as clean. It didn't look as nice as what Concordia did early on, but able to get themselves in a spot where the Concordia Stingers were having to face forwards in waves. And now Katie Cox gets to do her thing and prepare for a kick of her own.
Wasn't pretty, but it's the same amount of points on the board. And suddenly that deficit doesn't look that bad. You know, as she kicks it in, and it's going to be 28-13.
That's exactly the start you wanted. I think
100%.
If you're
Couldn't ask for better.
If you're going to do it, even when your hands failed you at times, the ball bounced your way. You have forced Concordia, who came out with minimal changes, to immediately come to the bench now too. We're seeing
a lot of change.
A lot of change. That's the numbers 19 and 26 coming on. And so that is Ariane Monnier and Juliette Lachapelle Marceau.
You're quicker at reading than I am. That first kick goes towards Zoe Neal, but she just can't get a hold of it as it goes in touch. That's kind of killing Carleton's momentum here, but like you said, just even though that wasn't the perfect play, they still managed to get in past that touch line, past that goal line. So it is exactly what the first start you were looking for, where you might not even have wanted that perfect start, where you can see that you can just power through the mistakes you made. Ball's back in play here. But Concordia just not making that much ground. Ball's out of the ruck. They're going far back, trying to roll it to that left side, but it's recovered by Zoe Neal. But they're calling a penalty back on Carleton. Those bright blue cleats just rolling through the field. They were easy to spot, even though it's getting pretty dark here at TAAG Park. Reading that pass really well. Fortunately, I didn't see what the call was, but it is a penalty to Carleton.
We're going to take our time here. Concordia really talking it through.
And hey, they're not in a rush.
No, and if anything, I think the smartest thing they can do right now is slow it down.
Exactly.
Your lead's gone from 28 to 15, and suddenly you're starting to think, like,
Hey, we don't want to take too many risks here, as that's Penelope Anderson with a lot of speed there. She managed to gain a lot of ground just plowing through that Carleton front. And that ball just barely gets over that touchline. And just like that, all the progress Carleton made in those first 2 minutes of the half gone.
the official is going to talk about this with her partner now.
Ball was pretty clearly over the line.
That will stand. Gabrielle Leverette did a great job putting face and body on the line, trying to hold it up. But it will stand for the Stingers, and that will put the lead back to 20.
Nicole Amaral just able to, once she gets a hold of that ball, just go out to that left side where there is only Gabrielle Leverette. And unfortunately, when you're that close to the touchline, it's hard not to give even a couple of inches. And like I said, that ball only barely getting over that touchline. But that's all you need for 5 on the board. Madeline McTavish again to kick it in. And that's another 2 as we reach the 50-minute mark here when that ball's going to be put back in play. Yeah, like I said again, suddenly all that progress you made in the first 2 minutes gone just like that.
Yeah, it's far from ideal scenario, as Concordia will make another substitution here and really get deep into their impact players. That looked like Sarah Scott, who just came on into the backfield. If you're the Carleton Ravens, as we mentioned, Michaela Cole out there, but haven't seen a lot of other substitutions yet.
Ball's up in the air. Kind of a miscommunication on Concordia's side where you had 2 players going for the ball.
Slow to the whistle, but definitely a knock on.
Of course.
That's probably an outfield coach's nightmare. You get 2 and nobody calls for it. But this is not Ottawa Stadium. That's now empty until the next O-Train Series game between the Ravens and the GGs after Game 1 went Wednesday night.
Ball is rolled in. McGregor quickly manages to pick it up outside and gives it over to Katie Cox. Carl's going to rush over that left side of the field where there is a lot of room. Those Concordia backs were a little late to the party getting there.
Unfortunate stutter step from Claire File before she made that pass. She almost got outrun by her winger.
Of course, it gets finally back into the hands of Sierra Haas. She's able to gain some ground. Now it's over to the right to Jenna Menard, but she gets pushed back a little bit. They're trying to play with those fronts. They're making those shorter passes.
Great second effort.
Gabrielle Leverette with a lot of ground manages to stay up just those extra 4 or 5 steps longer as we're inching our way to that touch line. We are definitely way into the red zone. Now we're pounding over on that right side. 2-3 plays in a row where we just want to find where that room is, and if we can't find it, create it. Again, that ball kind of getting traded between Grace Rhodes and Michaela Cola.
Cheeky chip. There is an advantage being played. So that was smart from Carleton. It at first I mentioned kind of seemed cheeky.
Warren putting that ball quickly into play. Now we're just inches away from that touch line. That ends up in the hands of Grace Rhodes, and she's over the line. Did the ball touch ground? No, it did not.
You know, that's unfortunate for Grace Rhodes. She had 2 great plays before that in earlier phases of that drive. She cleared a rock out single-handedly to make sure Carleton kept that drive alive, and then almost scored earlier, so to be held up there for Rhodes, unfortunate, as the Stingers now trying to play with the Carleton defense of where they might place this kick.
Ball is up. That's in the hands of Sierra Haas. She's got some room. Again, getting that ball quicker to the touch zone. That's a quick comeback there for Carleton. Morgan Sweeney finding room over on that left side before being taken down. Finally getting in the hands of McGregor. Setting up a lot of players on that left side in the backfield. But it's Jenna Menard that's going to decide to get it in. Didn't gain that much grounding. Goes back to Ember Warren, who's finding space in the middle. It's kind of becoming a shoving match there for that last couple feet before she gets taken down. Back to Grace Rhodes, and she's hungry for that touch that she just barely missed a couple of seconds earlier. Sierra Haas couldn't find an opening. McGregor to her left. As we keep going, we finally find room.
And that's Sierra Haas. A tricky little play from the Ravens. And
oh, yeah.
Just a beautiful play. Sierra Haas suddenly was out wide, like very wide.
I had to double check that number because, again, I had just said her name a couple seconds earlier.
Unfortunately for Carleton, though, there is a penalty. It does bring some things back. We're getting some advantages waved away, and everybody here is having to collectively just regroup.
Big sigh.
A very interesting play for the Ravens, and it was one of those kind of rolled once, it rolled twice. All of a sudden, Sierra Haas was way out wide with the backs, and there's not a back in the RSEQ.
That can stop Sierra.
Who's stopping her, at least not single-handed.
Oh, at all.
At least not when she has 10 yards to go.
Just might be, you know, not the best thing, but they got a lot of room on that right side. That kick would have been really hard to make. If they recover the ball pretty quickly. Concordia obviously not letting that happen, but are rolling that ball to the middle as they've been doing the entire game.
We get a whistle and this one in favor of the Ravens. But the Stingers walk away with the ball, which doesn't seem to sit too well. Tough to pick up on the broadcast that we wouldn't even be able to pan down with the lighting here at TAAG Park, but there's a great crowd over to the right-hand side, and men's rugby deserve a ton of credit. They played last night a really hard match at McGill, and to be here today in full voice in the crowd, we got some basketball players and obviously members of the rugby community too. So good showing here tonight. Concordia, as we said, traveled well. And
Sierra Haas with a lot of speed and a lot of room on that right side. We're getting closer to the middle here for Carleton too. Kind of that ideal spot to score a touch.
It's stolen by the Stingers.
They just can't find that last bit of room. So that ball is kicked into touch by Concordia, where they were kind of the ones that needed a break there. Just get rid of that pressure and kind of reset, at least mentally, because Carleton was looking mean.
Carleton's pushing here, and the Pack, who are for the most part still intact from the start of this game and have not let up. We've seen them be really physical. We've seen them be really aggressive in these situations, and Grace Rhodes just throwing people around in that last phase ended up putting a Concordia player offside because she just tossed her out of the rock like she was nothing. And it's what Carleton's maybe was missing early on. They got pushed around a bit by Concordia. They've stepped up in a big way here since.
Hours getting ready with our third ball of the game. That's a line and recovered by.
Not straight.
Oh.
We talked earlier about the struggles and not to pick on any one player, but Jana Menard's throws have struggled at times today. She threw one well, not straight, but to Concordia, so the advantage was played. We got an advantageous one that Grace Rhodes caught while she was trying to lift a teammate. And it's tough. Like, there's a lot going on. It's windy and things aren't working, but now the scrum, and if Carleton, this is a Concordia scrum, so if Carleton can steal this in any way, or if they can force Concordia into trying to kick and clear some field, this could help Carleton again. Claire File, the lone back, and she is well back, almost at midfield.
Oh boy, yeah. At what point usually do you start stressing out about the clock here? Because I'm looking at the clock ticking up, and I'd say it's time for urgency for Carleton here.
Yeah, there's a couple things you got to be worried about. We talk about bonus points a lot. Obviously, you want to stay close. You've given up the tries, so the next thing you want to kind of do here is see how close you can get. Obviously, you'd love to win. You play to win, but you want to score without giving anything up. So the longer you can stay in this Concordia zone, maybe chip away at that score, bring it back down to where you do get your bonus point. That's important too. So if you're the Carleton Ravens, there's a lot of things you're worried about. You've got 22 minutes left. We know how many points can be scored that quickly. We've seen that tonight. But it's about one phase at a time, and that's the only way you can approach it right now. If you start to worry about the clock, your hands are going to go, your approach is going to go. So just doing what they're doing, because this is the first time and since they were scored on early in the half that we've seen things kind of unravel and now pushed back again. Concordia going to catch their breath. This is the exact opposite of what David Long would want for his team.
Another penalty assessed to the Ravens. That kick goes far into touch. Concordia manages to get past midfield here.
That was a really consistent wave for Carleton for quite some time. Unfortunately, now to see it come to an end, and you worried about clock a minute ago, and rightfully so, because Concordia is not in a hurry.
Oh, exactly.
They've done what they need to do. It's starting to rain now, too, just to make our night one more step confusing. The wind has picked up. There's looks like a light rain, but tough to tell from here. And nice line out for the Stingers.
They got a lot of room over that middle with speed. Yeah, they're just finding the holes in that Carleton, in that Carleton front. And again, those big passing plays, kind of just buying time. They're backing it up here. They're putting all their backs on that left side. Carleton recovers. There's a lot going on that far side of the field. Concordia comes out of at least that ruck with it. Finding room over to the middle, actually going all the way to the left. Close to that sideline. That ball bounces, and they lose ground here. Fatima Ramadan reading that bouncing ball in that pass really well. Getting involved.
Sierra Haas able to steal it, yeah. That was a really dangerous pass. That's what we talked about, right? You want to get the backs active, and Concordia's backs just threw that one away.
Yeah, and it's been looking like they're looking to use those backs, right? Like, if you want to, chew a little bit of time off that clock, that is what you do, but it's a risky tactic here.
There's Grace Rhodes again. We have another penalty, this time on Carleton, though. Not letting go of the ball at the bottom, and Grace Rhodes at the same time, maybe trying to throw somebody off a pile that she shouldn't have been near. It's a roof open here in the booth. We're starting to feel the weather coming down, and
can we even call it a booth at this point? We're feeling the rain. We're feeling the wind.
It is four walls. There is a roof. Yeah. We are elevated above TAAG Park, but no, yeah, as everything's gotten started here, it was smoking hot up here today. It was 28 degrees at one point in time, and we are going to have to maybe look at pushing that roof down a little bit in a minute, but for now, it's come in quick and it started, and you can see it. You may not see it on the broadcast here. You can definitely see the wind. That flag at midfield is
going nuts.
having a tough time staying on its feet right now, and I don't blame it. It's had a long day.
Throw goes in, flows a little bit onto that Carleton side, and that ball gets loose, and Sierra Haas gets it back again. Able to gain a lot of ground on that. They're looking over at that right side. Ramadan was right. Ramadan wanted that ball, but when it came, kind of just let it bounce and couldn't get a hold of it.
Not a terrible play, though. That wasn't a great pass. It was behind her and low. She lets it hit the turf first, falls on it. At least guarantees she doesn't knock it on that way.
Now the ball gets back to Grace Rhodes. Player's name who we've repeated a lot. Back to Jenna Menard, and she's able to gain a lot of ground. McGregor quickly gets that ball out back to that left side. Now it's Bergeron up the middle. Ravens kind of finding their rhythm, but McGregor kind of in a tug of war for the ball.
Unfortunately, it looks like the Stingers might have it here, and they do.
They do. As they kick it away to get some room. Claire File gets it back.
A whistle here, and we're going to get a stop and play. There is a Stingers player down behind the play. The official will call for the clock to stop as well. That one drew both teams out at first as the Carleton player was trapped underneath too. We're going to see some Raven substitutions as well. Looks like we're going to get the number 20, Claire Vandesan, and the number 22, Samantha Hemian, both coming into the game. Our Stingers player who is down is back on her feet. She's making her way off. There's going to be a substitution for her as well. But nice to see for both our players today. They've come off on their feet. They've come off in good form. Fortunately for that Stinger, that is the end of her day. We'll get you a name and an update. But she's on her feet. She's taking high fives and hugs from teammates as she heads off. So good sign there. Referee lets both teams finish getting water. We get ready to start this one in very different weather than we had at 6:30.
Oh, yeah. That field is starting to get shiny as we see those raindrops coming in.
Yeah, this changes your tactics a bit. We talked about the wind earlier and how that might have an impact. Now we're starting to wonder how the ball is going to be slippery. And if you're Carleton, you've been using your forwards more. They've been powering through. That's important. I think the next question is, what are you going to do if you're Concordia? Your backs haven't been very sure-handed today. They haven't been called on a lot, but when they have, under a lot of pressure, a lot of pace from Carleton. So some questions now of how do you approach this, and with 16 minutes to go and a 22-point lead, maybe you're just going to try and ground this ball out.
Allard rolled it in. Carleton's pushing hard to get that ball out of that scrum, but it's still Concordia that gets it out. But a penalty's getting called here.
Referee taking their time to set the scrum.
Sorry, not a penalty.
No, you're correct.
Oh, okay. The one time I try to be humble.
I could be the only one who thinks this, but as I look up at the sky as this ball goes in, the rain is coming in two directions.
Well, you said earlier that wind was going crazy, and, you know, I'm starting to agree with you.
Carleton wins an important one there as that scrum fell apart.
That's what they need. Sierra Haas with a lot of room, trying to get that ball out quick as she runs into a wall. That ball out to the right, back to McKenna Taylor.
Haas made every inch of that 10-meter advantage. Unfortunately, McKenna Taylor
Slow to get up.
slow to get up, but being attended to. She's sitting up. It seems to be a leg that she's favoring as the Carleton medical team take care of her quickly on the sideline. And
Yeah, an unfortunate part of the sport, but something you never like to see, right? The amount of injuries that come with rugby.
And sometimes they are, and you always hope that's what you're seeing. That, I mean, you got cleats, you got studs. Sometimes you just get yourself in a situation where you get stepped on, or you get caught, or you get tangled up, and you hope for McKenna's sake that all that is right now, and that in 15 minutes or 2 days everything's feeling good again. But the team will take a look at her, and that's Dr. Bradley, who's out there in the red shirt as well. Team physicians. One of the amazing things here about Carleton Athletics is every single one of these teams has their own physician assigned to them, and in some cases like football where there's just more players on the roster, multiple, and to have world-class physicians, Dr. Bradley, Dr. Taylor, who are at Olympics, or at Paralympics, or at FISU games with university athletes. These athletes are in incredible hands. And so, yeah, it's tough right now. McKenna is sitting up, and she's able to have a quick chat. And you hope everything's quick for her, but like in those situations, like we talked about with Katie Cox, where you're down and you're out for a year or two, the team you have around you here is incredible. And we talked about Nick Eck earlier, who's the strength and conditioning coach for this team, but that entire strength and conditioning department, or athletic therapy department, sports med under Nick Westcott, just exceptional. Everybody's internationally renowned in one way or another. Nick Westcott works with the national development team for Hockey Canada's women's program, and they all play such a big role in different things in the community, known for helping Olympians recover from knee injuries and other things too. So it is an amazing thing to see in what Carleton has. And we talked last game about what Carleton brings, and as we take a look at their pack right now, just as they continue to kind of attend to McKenna, that in the pink vest out there is Jessica Jubarn, and we talked about her too. Like we just talked about the amazing depth to what we're seeing. Now we're getting some subs too, but Jess just back from a tour with the Canadian Ravens rugby league team, who get ready to play in the World Championships in Brampton later this year. Great to have her back. Obviously tough to have her away for a couple weeks at the start of the season. As a few players now being tended to, there's a Concordia player just being taped up. Looks like in her case, she may just have a bloody knee.
No, an amazing staff here at Carleton, but going back to the game, it's killing that momentum again. Ravens just had something going on, and unfortunately, that McKenna Taylor going down, it's gonna pause that momentum. Hopefully, not get in their heads for them too much. As McKenna Taylor, she's gonna try to stay in the game.
Yeah, they taped her up for a minute there, and yeah, she's giving it a test and a little bit of a hobble, but McKenna is on her feet and back out there, and that's awesome to see. I think it looked maybe scarier than it was, thankfully.
Might have just been a stinger too, where it hurts, but that's about it, right?
Yeah, and like we talked about, like that's not a team that's going to leave you out there if you're at risk for worse.
Oh no.
So to see McKenna stay, and now both teams have some subs they're looking to bring in, but she's testing that out. Like it might be a foot or an ankle, but either way, the tape is there. She's going to stand out now. She's got one very white boot in the backfield. And we're going to get
a tape on that right ankle, but she doesn't look too afraid to put weight on it. But
no, we're seeing her bouncing, and she was in a nice deep squat. But no, Coach David Long is not going to take his chance.
That's going to be Aiden Thompson taking her spot.
Interesting, though, as McKenna comes in, the Ravens are actually shuffling around positions. Aiden Thompson taking the wing, Fatima Ramadan moving into the mid. We'll see. Not very often you see Fatima at center. No, she's not going to stay at center. Fatima's actually making her way to fullback. Claire File has now taken the outside center position.
McGregor puts that ball in play. And we're finally back here. Sierra Haas finds a lot of room on that right side. She knew it even before she got the ball in her hands. And the ball again quickly goes over that left field, Morgan Sweeney. Morgan over to Peyton Chase this time, just getting that ball moving as quickly as possible. Now we find room over on that left side, and that pass is dropped. And it's going to be Concordia getting it back.
There's an advantage here for the Stingers as well. That may have been the knock on.
Yeah, like you said, maybe it's that rain. Just, you know, you add a lot of uncertainty to those passes.
That's a tough break, too. Both teams made a lot of subs. There was a lot of changes of players that were both scrambling to take some notes of who's in and who's where. But you make a lot of changes. You get a lot of cold bodies in. And, I mean, they do their best to warm up and be ready to go. But there's nothing like getting hit or giving a hit. So,
yeah, not the best feeling on earth.
Gives you a minute to get your timing. Definitely, it can either wake you up or it can make you want to go.
I think that's Emma Marshall rolling it in. And there's a lot of room, and Sierra Haas is the one that comes out with it. And again, finding room on to her right. Again, that ball quickly out of the ruck. McGregor puts it in the middle for Ember Warren. Kind of just inching their way forward down that middle of the field. And the Stingers get a penalty out of that.
They will wait for Sierra Haas to walk over. We've seen Sierra Haas really take advantage of any yard she's been given on the last couple penalties, definitely getting more than her 10 meters. But off the last couple scrums, especially since Concordia starters have come out, she's been able to pick and go with ease. So this one now, about halfway into the attacking zone, we'll see what she does. She's the one making plans with the backs right now.
And again, 12 minutes. That's a lot of time to put up some points on the board. Regretted to roll it in. It goes way back. Sarah Haas doesn't have this much room. Decides to give it off to Zoe Neild. And she's got a lot of room. We saw what she can do with that speed. And they're over, and they got less than 5 meters to go. Kind of both teams scrambling to get back into position. Sierra Haas can't find a gap in that defense. And they're just going to try to inch their way closer to that touch zone. Peyton Chase kind of pushing, giving her teammates some room. McGregor's looking at her back. She goes to the left side where there is a lot of room.
Carlton's got to be careful as they near the touch line here.
Don't want to repeat what happened earlier.
What a great rock.
Wow. And Michaela Cola just given a lot of room.
That one came out the side, and it's going to be awarded in favor of, it's a knock on they're calling on the Ravens.
Wow.
That drawing some boos from the men's players, and that's a tough one to try and read that in the crowd. The official obviously much closer than we are, both through camera zoom and through eyes in the booth, but difficult to say that that one hit a hand.
Yeah, did or not. That really hurts Carleton, especially if they can't recover that ball anytime soon. So we got 10 minutes left here to the game.
That one comes out sideways. Oh, boy.
Pass dropped at the back. They're in their own touch zone. They try to kick that ball out, but it sticks to the ground a little bit. And Carleton comes back with it. Again, Sierra Haas just inching her way closer, trying to find a hole in that defense. And now it's back to Grace Rhodes. You know, she's probably really looking for that touch. And they're in. Big sigh of relief for pretty much every Carleton Raven in front of us.
And it looks like of all the forwards to put that one in, everybody's kind of celebrating with Lindsay Pare there. And for Carleton, You're right. There was a lot of grind and a lot of drive to
my.
that. I think the only thing driving harder is the rain right now. But Carleton with a multi-phase attack. They really get moving through the ball. Peyton Chase, who came on as an impact player last game and was immediately dangerous, doing the same thing again here. And Carleton's done what we wanted them to do about 10 minutes ago. They've really
100%.
started to take back over. They're stealing balls off scrums. That was, if you're Concordia, obviously these are your impact players right now. These aren't your starters, but that whole scrum started to wheel. The ball comes out the side. You throw it into the back as this wind is going. These uprights are going sideways. You may not see it fully on your screen, but they are rocking right now. Fatima Ramadan sprinting in from the back. She's going to have to hold this one because it won't stay on the tee. And, yeah, the Carleton Ravens did everything you wanted them to do there. They battled hard. They got into the scoring positions. They started to really work it over. And now it's
going to be a tough kick for Zoe Neal. Hopefully getting to 20 on the board. And she does so. 35-20 your score now.
And for the Carleton Ravens, only 8 minutes left. You got to make this work. You want to recover this kick if you can. You need to get upfield. You got to hope there's some extra time coming from the officials as well. And really, you're trying to scrape for everything you can. If you can get this within 7 points, that's probably ideal. If you can keep coming back, even better. But make it a one-score game and see what you can do.
And the way I'm looking at it, it's a clean slate now. It's, so much effort got put into that try where you could have easily had 2, 3, but you're only coming out with 1 in the past, I don't know, like 20-ish minutes. So there's a clean slate, like I said, and you want to.
Yeah, in those 10 minutes after the injury to McKenna Taylor, like you said, they really did everything well and got themselves up. Now, unfortunately, it looked like they were going to get some good ground, but there is an advantage called back, and it's going to go to the Stingers. As Claire Van de Sand looked like she was going to get some yards and get Carleton back in the positive side of the field, but instead it'll be Stingers ball. But as we talked about, the last couple scrums have not gone Concordia's way, and now you start to wonder what's this one going to look like.
Those Carleton front being able to just, out-muscle their Concordia counterparts, like you said, with those impact players coming in.
That one quickly out the back, and they're going to scrum, pick, and go.
Now with a lot of room down the middle.
The room ends when you get to Sierra Haas.
And that ball got dropped, and it's going to be back to Carleton here. There's not a lot of room on that right side, but they decided to go there. Back in the middle, and we've got a hole.
That's Peyton Chase.
That's Peyton Chase with so much room. Using that speed as the wind really picked up here, but your Ravens are past midfield, and they're not stopping anytime soon.
You just got empty bottles flying around. It's okay.
That's going back to Peyton Chase, and wow, ever since she's come into that game.
This is 2 games in a row, right? Like this is a first-year player who's trying to get into a pack that is very full, and how you make an impact, how you make yourself known to be a future starter. You have to do what she's doing, and she's done
100%.
it incredibly well.
Ball gets stopped. We're looking for room in that middle.
Slippery ball pops its way out. Advantage being played.
Concordia for now, though, still has it, and decide they're going to try to kick it in touch here. That's a wild bounce. Didn't go far enough, and they recover, but didn't gain that much ground.
What a great jump by Carleton, though.
As that rain is really picking up, so like you said, that ball's only getting a little more slippery. Just keep finding room over in that middle. And Concordia, we're repeating ourselves here, but not in a hurry to gain ground too much as that ball slips out and rolls in touch.
And if you're the Stingers, you don't want to hurry because this is what happens. You start to throw it out to the left. You try and get moving, and unfortunately now, like, you're going to give up a scrum just over midfield. Now, granted, there's 4 minutes plus to go. Carleton really needs to, I mean.
It would take a lot, right, to get even.
It's going to take a heck of a comeback, but I think this could start really quickly here. There's some communication before Carleton sets this scrum. You got Sierra Haas. She's only got one on the right side. Shockingly, Concordia not throwing anyone else over there.
No, and she's been preferring that right side, too.
If Haas picks, you've got a lane. She's barely even setting herself in the back.
Gregor rolls it in. Taking some time to come out, though. And they're going over that left side, and Zoe Neal just can't get a good grip on that pass. And I think they're going to call a knock on here when Neal dropped that ball.
Unfortunately for Neal, that one came in flat. You really, especially when it's slippery, you got to stagger your hands. I watched Coach Long go over this with his backs for quite a while one day in practice during the preseason. It's all about that balance so that if you do knock it, it's hopefully going to roll. And that one rolled for her, but off the chest and down to the turf. And any maybe chance Carleton had to push back here in the final minutes is looking like it's running out of time.
Concordia again preferring that middle, but they're finding room over on that right side. Those Carleton backs backing up pretty quickly and finally gets taken down. But that ball gets quickly taken out of the ruck, back it through the middle. And again, taking their time, kind of chewing that clock up.
Oh, fantastic second effort. Carleton failed to close the gap.
Now we're finding room on that right edge for Concordia. Ramadan quickly reads that play though. Finally gets a good stop. Given a chance for those Carleton backs to, kind of back up, reposition themselves, and hopefully stopping that Concordia as they're getting closer to the touchline.
That was Dekisia who had that great run.
Right on the line. They're past it. Can that ball touch the ground?
Two officials in there, and they're going to conference immediately. The word is no and held up.
Concordia was cheering, but Carleton was cheering harder.
Great positioning. You saw both officials right inside that zone watching it as it came over the try line, and Lindsay Pare and others doing everything they can to hold this one up. So this clock is starting to near 8 minutes. The rain is coming down, and here in Ottawa, Environment Canada starting to call for some severe storms on the outside, but maybe that's not to be shocked by. It is a Red Blacks game night. And Friday night football in Ottawa is typically a marathon.
Man.
Good kick out there for Carleton. That's two plays in a row where Carleton hasn't committed anyone to the ruck, and Concordia's just picked up the ball and kept going. That Concordia player, who we're not getting it on our screen, but she kept going without a shoe.
Oh, that's what was on the field. I was about to ask you, but Concordia finally making some ground, and in the last minute, actually the last second, they put that ball past the touchline. Just an extra dagger in this game that's just, not been going well at all for the Ravens.
It's come in spurts, and as Concordia does the work they need to do to get in over the try line one last time, if you're Carleton, this has kind of been the tale. You get momentum, you get going.
We're seeing some good thunder going on here.
We will be no doubt calling this one in seconds as that thunder just shot through the sky.
Not that many extra minutes happening here, but
both coaches making sure that everyone saw that one. That was very close, and I don't doubt we'll be evacuating the stadium as well.
Nope. David Long before the game, you know, he was expecting a closer matchup than last game, but you know, we saw like it in flashes where Carlton was keeping up with Concordia, and it was just Concordia just getting that ball out, just doing the smarter plays and playing to their weaknesses, where Carlton was kind of just playing Concordia's game, right?
Yeah, you take the first 30 minutes away from this one, and it's a 2-point ball game. But unfortunately, you can't take minutes off the clock, and the official, seeing the weather and seeing the circumstances, will call an end to this one.
Yep, that last kick was good. So it'll be a final score of 42-20 for the Concordia Stingers, almost more than doubling Carlton's score. Again, a very unfortunate result for the Ravens.
And now both teams at this point in time,
They want to get off that field.
they do, but also they draw a level in the standings. Concordia gets the very important advantage as we look at those RSEQ standings sometimes, and you know, like, there's always such a battle for third place, fourth place, for that last playoff spot. And in this situation here tonight, the Concordia Stingers do what they need to do. They come in, they face a rival in Carleton, and they do absolutely everything they can to make sure this one goes. So
Next game for the Ravens is next Saturday at 1 o'clock in Laval against the Rouge et Or at 1 o'clock. So, again, another tough matchup, but hopefully just something to get kind of just forget this game.
yeah, if you're Carleton, that's definitely one you're gonna approach differently. Laval always asks for your best, and they roll impact players who are all-stars on other teams. They're just so deep. So you learn your lessons here. You learn about the start that you had and the way it went for you, and you start to immediately look at how are you going to bounce back, and you got to keep that one close. Look to get your bonus points. Look to maybe get an upset if you can, and see where you can go next.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone, for being with us. Our next game here at TAAG Park is going to be on September 20th against the Sherbrooke Vert et Or. See you next time. I'm Cody Gaudreau. This is Jeremy Whalen next to me. We'll see you next time.